Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Ad Age Remotely. I'm Janine Poggi, Assistant Managing Editor here at Ad Age. Thanks so much for joining us. AT&T announced last week that it would debut its highly anticipated ad-supported tier of its HBO Max platform in June. And it also said that it has already secured $80 million in upfront ad commitments for the platform. Joining us today is JP Colaco, Head of Ad Sales for WarnerMedia, to discuss the upcoming launch of its ad-supported tier and the outlook on the TV and video ecosystem. Hi, JP.
Hi, Janine. Great to see you. Happy Women's History Month.
Same here. Thank you so much for joining us and being part of the show.
Glad to be here.
So before we get started, for those of you watching at home, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in our social channels and we will try to get to them during this program. So JP, everyone is talking about the pending launch of the ad-supported tier of HBO Max, with it being about just 3 months away. What can you tell us so far about how you're thinking about the commercial experience in streaming?
Well, we haven't announced anything on that, but let me first say how excited we are about the growth of HBO Max. As you may have read, we're sort of 2 years ahead in terms of subscribers, and then in the investor meeting on Friday, we announced sort of increasing our estimates by 2025 for HBO Max from 75 to 90 million to 120 to 150 million subscribers. So really exciting momentum that we're seeing with HBO Max. From the ad side, I think we're also really excited about the June launch of HBO Max with ads. And if you look at those subscriber projections, those lofty estimates that we're looking at, having choice for consumers is going to help us exceed those numbers. And that means who wins out of this is the actual consumer, because you can choose to have an experience without ads or an experience with ads. And we think that'll attract more consumers to our platform. In terms of the ad experience and the question you asked, I think what sort of a tiger doesn't change its stripes. And I came from the Hulu experience, and we think that there should be a really strong balance between the amount of content that you consume and the amount of advertising that you watch. And so we think if you offer consumers a clean, elegant, non-intrusive ad experience, that you will see greater engagement by consumers and higher efficacy for marketers. And that's what we're going for.
How are you looking to differentiate the experience for both brands and consumers from, a commercial experience? Are there ways that you're approaching the marketplace differently than perhaps some of the streaming platforms that have launched over the past year or so have?
Yeah, we're not ready to discuss that yet. And I think you'll have to wait until the launch to see it with your own eyes. And I think you'll be excited by the experience that we're offering.
One thing I did see was that HBO content, pure HBO content, would not be a part of this ad-supported option. Can you just talk a little bit more about that?
Again, we haven't announced that yet, Janine, but I think that we will have a great advertising experience for marketers across the majority of our content.
So and just in the terms of the general streaming landscape, what are you sort of preparing for and positioning, HBO Max for as it relates to all the competition that's out there? It's obviously becoming an increasingly crowded landscape. How are you thinking about that competition and where HBO Max might fit in it?
Sure. I think, first of all, if you look at the sort of history of media, there was a kind of a narrow focus, 500 channels, but very narrowly focused. And now what you're seeing is a horizontal option where you can go really deep into specific types of content. And for us, we have a 100-year history of the best IP in the world. And we think that telling stories, which is what we really do as a company, we tell stories for content and we tell stories for brands. And we think that we have an archive of some of the best stories, and we have a lot of the best storytellers in the world. So our competitive differentiation is to bring that all to life in one place for consumers and provide an incredible experience, both from consuming content and, in the case of HBO Max with ads, the ability to intersperse marketing messages into that. And that, we think, will be our competitive differentiation. At the end of the day, it comes down to providing the most compelling content for consumers in a user-friendly way across all platforms.
AT&T did say that you did secure $80 million in the upfront commitments for HBO Max. What have you seen that brands are really looking for in this space?
Sure. I think that what brands are looking for is a really strong experiences, and I think sort of you're seeing sort of lower ratings, for example, in primetime television, and they're trying to recapture those audiences and get reach across digital. And so if you think about connected TVs, you think about mobile phones, iPads, et cetera, people are looking to have more touch points with consumers. And I think they are looking for, and the dollars will continue to gravitate to places that have premium content with really engaging experience, driving high efficacy, and also really strong ad experiences, of which we're excited to offer both.
Do you think we will see a greater shift in ad dollars out of linear and into streaming during this year's upfront? How much are you sort of anticipating for?
I don't think you're going to see that. I think that television is very resilient, and a lot of us in the industry and us as a pioneer are working on addressability. And I think that we look at it holistically. We have this portfolio of some of the best brands in the television landscape, whether you look at CNN, which was #1 in this quarter for all audiences, and you look at things like TNT, that was the #1 entertainment network. We have broad reach, powerful traditional television networks that have also expanded cross-platform on one side, and then we have tremendous reach and efficacy and quality across digital. And with HBO Max, with ads launching, I think that sort of expands the portfolio. And so we think that marketers will start to buy across platforms and sort of have certain messages sort of tailored to the actual experience that consumers are having.
So it's not about money shifting from one platform to another. It's more of being more of a holistic approach and how you package that all together.
That's exactly right. And at the end of the day, what are marketers looking for? They're looking for reach, they're looking for effectiveness, and they're looking for precision. And we're able to provide all of those across all the touch points that we have as a company.
I'm here with JP Colaco, head of ad sales for WarnerMedia. Thank you to those of you tuning in at home. We have Abigail from North Carolina, Randy from Illinois, Dennis from Brazil, Melinda from Missouri. We have James from Brazil, Sadie from Rwanda, and Angela from Alabama. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as a reminder, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them on any of our social channels, and we will try to get to them during this conversation. So JP, we're approaching the 6-month mark since you joined WarnerMedia back in October. This will also be your first time leading the ad sales organization during the upfronts. What has the experience been like joining the company mid the pandemic? Certainly there have been challenges both internally and externally in the media landscape. What has it been like navigating those during this time?
Thanks, Janine. That's a great question. I think, sort of coming into the company, I think the biggest challenge that I faced is that I'm sort of people first and sort of getting to know the team. So I spent the first couple of months on a lot of WebEx calls, talking to my great team. And what I realized very quickly is what a talented, passionate, smart, and lean forward on behalf of the customer type of team that we have. And so that's been great. But the challenge is I don't get to shake hands with people. I don't get to get everybody in a room, and I don't get to sort of talk openly and honestly and have a full sort of get everyone fired up moment as I started the company. So being at a distance has its challenges, but there's also some really interesting nuances about it. We had our sales conference last week, and it was a great moment because one of our account executives was interviewing a senior executive from our sports team and asking questions about that person's career, and brought on his daughter, who happened to obviously be in the home office, and she asked a bunch of questions. So there's a lot of really exciting things you can do that sort of further the experience. And on top of that, there's an intimacy to it all, and I think that intimacy creates deeper connections both with our team and also with our customers. And it also gives customers flexibility. I mean, we've talked to senior level agency and marketer folks who are at their Jersey Shore place or they're down in Florida, and it just creates this fluidity that enables people to discuss the business with you in an area that's most comfortable for them. So I think that's been great. I can't wait for the moment that we're all together and we can do rah-rah sessions and have one-to-one conversations, and I can buy you a coffee and celebrate your new promotion.
That I'm very much looking forward to those days. But during this time, has the relationship with clients changed? Like, has it evolved, and how you're speaking with them, and sort of the deals you're able to do in this type of environment?
Yeah, I think it has changed. I think coming through the period that we've been through, I think there is a much more collaborative spirit in terms of having empathy for our customers and for their lot in life, and also just people in general. And I think people are more connected. They understand each other's lot in life differently. So I think that's changed. And then from the actual business standpoint, what we've seen is a need from our customers for flexibility. And we led the market last year in the upfront and being very, very flexible with both our agencies and our direct clients. And I think we've earned a lot of credibility through that process. And flexibility really matters, as sort of the vision through the windshield is not as great as you would like to have, but we want to be flexible, and we want to be open, and we want to have honest, transparent conversations with our customers. And I think through this period, we've really done that.
Do you think flexibility would continue to be a major negotiation point as it was last year? And what might that look like in year 2 of this?
Yeah, I think it will be a major point, because I don't think advertisers have full transparency into their budgets moving forward. And I think it will be one of those things where the top publishers, such as ourselves, will structure something that works across an agency holding company, but also for each individual client. And we're very open to those type of dialogues to do what's best for our business, but also to understand sort of how people are planning and buying, and make something that really works for them.
What's your outlook on the upfronts at this point in time?
Sure, I'm very optimistic. I think we saw a really strong scatter market, and I think the economy's coming back. There's a whole sense of optimism around vaccines, around sort of return to work, around hopefully people, around Q4 starting to vacation again, which will bring back categories such as travel and dining and hotels and all that kind of stuff will come back. And so I think there is a sense of optimism, and from talking to our partners, they definitely want to move quickly. So we're excited about that.
We spent a lot of years talking about the various advancements in, TV video advertising, things like addressability and audience targeting and things like that. Last year, it feels like there was a little bit of pause on those conversations, just as, of course, with COVID and the uncertainty around the marketplace, we saw advertisers kind of focus on like just doing business. What do you think we'll see as it relates to this year? What kind of advancements do you expect to see? What might actually change in negotiations this time around?
Sure. I think this year it is going to be the year of addressability. Everybody is talking about it, but I think that you can actually execute it, in the back half of the year. And so we're really excited about that. WarnerMedia / AT&T has been a pioneer in addressability through our direct TV platform. We've been doing it for 8 years. So we're really experts, and we're helping to build this industry. And we're really excited about it. If you can send the right ad to the right person at the right time, it's great for marketers to eliminate waste, and it's great for consumers to have a better experience. And so we're looking at sort of building out our addressable footprint through the course of this year. And I think that will be paramount in the minds of advertisers as they purchase. How do I use addressability, and then many places their own first-party data to become more precise, not just in a world of sort of traditional television, but across platforms. So we're really excited about building converged addressability, where you can look holistically at all the video impressions across all the different touch points that we have with consumers, and drive better efficacy, reach, and planning and buying for marketers. And those are sort of 2 points that I think are really important as we move into this upfront.
And we've seen some tests in the marketplace of national linear addressability. How much scale do you think we'll see from that this year? How much of those kinds of deals and opportunities will there be?
Yeah, I think this year we'll start to see sort of test and learn environments. We already did a test with Dunkin' Donuts in Q4 of last year, and so we're already testing. And I think sort of enabling addressability across all of our distribution partners is really important for us. And then getting marketers on board to start to test probably around Q4 is where we'll start, and then you'll see it slowly ramp up through the course of 2022.
What would you say is the biggest challenge for Warner Media heading into the upfronts?
I think our biggest challenge is to present what we're trying to do in an effective way to marketers and to get them to understand the breadth, depth, and the power of our company. And, not to get too much into our upfront sort of dialogue, but we see ourselves as doing a few things. I think one is building the world's most effective video advertising service. And what is that? That means that we have a machine that can target really, really well to customers and is great for marketers, but also for consumers. We're getting them the right ad at the right time, as I said before. And so I think that's kind of one piece of it. I think the second is around addressability and more precision for marketers across every touch point that we have. And third is unleashing the power of this incredible 100-year history company that we have, whether it's a Scooby-Doo to Wonder Woman, whether it's Game of Thrones, whether it's Harry Potter. We have it all in sort of one place. And so we're unleashing that in terms of creating not just content experiences, but also partnerships with advertisers. We did something called DC Fandom last year that had over 30 million viewers worldwide for that specific platform. And so we're taking these pieces of IP and we're making them into actual offerings, not just for consumers, but for advertisers. And one of our mantras is sort of IP is the new prime time. It's prime time anytime. You can touch and you can actually engage with IP at any moment in time. And so we're really excited about that as well.
So should we expect for brands to see more such like IP related opportunities moving into the upfront and into the remainder of the year?
Yes, absolutely. I'll just give you one example. October is the 80th anniversary of Wonder Woman. And so we've launched an IP program called Believe in Wonder around celebrating 80 women who've done incredible things in the world and impacted the world in a very, very positive way. And so that taking that IP and that halo from Wonder Woman 1984 and the history of the brand for 80 years, and then applying it to opportunities to connect with consumers across all our networks is something that we are, sort of showing to marketers and now and into the upfront. And those are the types of experiences. We also have the movie Space Jam coming out this year as well. And so you can sort of see the number of different IP opportunities. It's limitless in terms of tapping into the IP and creating things that work for consumers, but also that brands can customize and work with as well.
This vision of turning Warner Media into the most effective advertising platform, what will it take to get there? Is there a timeline and sort of how you realize that?
Yeah, we don't discuss our product roadmap too much, but what I can say is we're building aggressively. What it will take is a few things. I think one is, sort of working with all our partners to enable things like addressability. I think two, what it takes is data. And, if you think about AT&T and Warner Media, we're touching most consumers in the United States from an entertainment standpoint or from a connectivity standpoint. And so we probably have some of the best connections with consumers. And in a privacy-centric way, we can actually build a data spine and our own first-party data, our own sort of walled garden, where we can use that data to inform everything we do with consumers, whether that's somebody playing a game, whether it's somebody watching a show on HBO Max or watching something on one of our traditional networks. We can actually use all this data to fuel better precision for marketers and better experiences for viewers. And that is, Pareto optimal if we can do all that.
As brands are thinking about wanting to be more inclusive, how is Warner Media setting the organization up both internally and externally, for conversations with clients to help be more inclusive and to be more inclusive internally?
Yeah, so this is a really important topic, and I think it starts with sort of a deep belief that I have and that Warner Media has around the importance to be more inclusive. We look at sort of equity plus inclusion equals diversity. And if you look at some of the statistics, there's an article today in the Wall Street Journal about the fact that in our industry, and this was the 4As doing it, so it was about advertising agencies, but only about 6% was African American, and I think somewhere around 8% was Latino. And so that And the other point that they made was that they were actually at lower level jobs and not senior executive jobs. And that's something we as an industry have to really, really work on. And if you look at the entire marketplace, it's about 30% just Black and Latino. And so we have a long ways to go, not just in total coverage, but also in getting these folks to senior level jobs. And so it is a right thing to do. And that's what we're focused on, is infusing this into our DNA. We had our sales meeting, as I mentioned, last week, and we spent a whole day just on people, on building a culture, on building something inclusive. We brought on Megan Rapinoe, who's not only a star on the field, she's also a champion for social justice. And so we've done that. And then we have a really strong equity inclusion team at the company that was there as well. And we're working together to build a plan around, behind the camera, what do we do? In front of the camera, what do we do? How do we tell stories? Judas the Black Messiah was just recognized for a number of Academy Award nominations on top of winning a couple of Golden Globes. And it's not just great acting and great storytelling. It's also telling a story that needs to be told. So from the content side, we can do that. And then from our side on the ad team, what we're looking at is all the different areas that we can do. How do we recruit folks and get more people into our system? How do we train them and develop them? How do we give them more opportunities for senior level jobs? And one of the good things out of this is that if we do this all well, not just us at WarnerMedia, but as an industry, we can mirror the marketplace that we serve. We play in a very important role as information and entertainment, and we have to use that power that we have to serve the markets that we are serving, and to get folks to, if you want to get folks to buy your products and services, you have to be representative of the marketplace. And providing these diverse point of views will help make better products and better services and connect with marketers. And you asked about agencies and clients. They expect that now from us. And we're proud and honored to be the tip of the spear in actually developing these type of products and services. And I'll tell you something that we sort of uncovered in this, which is really exciting, and we were talking about IP opportunities, is WarnerMedia actually owns an African-American comic book franchise called Milestone Comics. And uncovering that is just amazing that, sort of these superheroes have been created over time, and now we can use that to tell messages that are more inclusive.
Yeah, we actually have a follow-up question to that end. Randy on LinkedIn, how does WarnerMedia make their ad dollars equitable with the African-American consumer?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. And, it's something that we are looking at and studying. I don't have a direct answer for that right now, but it's something we can get back to Randy on.
Great. Yeah, let's definitely do that. I think it's important. We wrote a story last week talking about how brands are really paying attention to and thinking about how they allocate their dollars and make sure they're reaching more diverse audiences. So, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out in the landscape and in the marketplace during the upfronts this year.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I think deploying your dollars, again, to sort of where the market is really important for brand marketing, as well as for how we deploy our team and how we connect with customers, both directly to end consumers and also with customers representing those types of brands.
Back to the conversation around thinking about how WarnerMedia will be the most effective ad platform around data and targeting. You have Zander obviously in the portfolio. How are you looking to work with Zander moving forward? What is the role of Zander alongside, the ad sales organization?
Yeah, I think Zander is a really important component to everything that we do. We see Zander as, Zander is a platform, right, with invest and monetize in terms of a DSP, SSP relationship. And they're frankly our primary touch point in terms of delivering actual impressions across a broader marketplace and leveraging, sort of their data and our data together to get the right messages to the right places.
Anything else in terms of how you'll be going to market? I know last year for the first time, Warner Sales and Zander went to the market together. Is that something that you'll be doing again this year? And how can we, look at that moving forward?
Yeah, we continue to sort of work together with our partners in the company to go to market holistically, because we think that's what marketers want. And And the rest of it, you're going to have to wait till May 19th for our upfront to hear.
Great. Anything else in terms of what you're expecting to be is the biggest change during this year's upfront marketplace, or any big innovation that you're expecting to see happen this year?
Yeah, I think there's a few innovations we talked about around sort of targeting, just sort of the year of targeting and the year of addressability. But on top of that, I think the innovations will be around sort of all the streaming platforms, and some have ads and some don't. But in our case, we're really excited about sort of bringing an innovative, elegant experience around HBO Max with ads to the market, and there's a lot of demand out there and a lot of excitement, and so we're pretty excited about bringing that to the marketplace.
Great. Well, that's all the time we have for today. But JP and other TV ad sales leaders will join Ad Age on May 24th and May 25th for our TV Pivot event. And you can go to adage.com/TV Pivot for more details. Thank you so much, JP, and looking forward to seeing you then.
We'll see you soon.
As always, thank you to our Ad Age crew, Alfred Mascaroni, Max Sternlicht, Anna Sakula, and Elise Liffring for making this live stream happen. And thanks for everyone for tuning in.